Hi guys, today we are going to be doing some skillet apples. This is going to serve as, you could have this as a dessert or you can use it for pie filling, which is what I'm going to do. I have a big bowl of already chopped apples, but I'm going to demonstrate how I got here. This total will be about 4 pounds of apples that I've cut up. So you'll need a peeler, a cutting board, and a knife that you're comfortable working with that's nice and sharp. And so basically you just want to use your peeler and get all of your skin off of here. Okay, and making sure that you are being protective of your hands.
And once again, I am her cameraman.
That's right, Audrey is my cameraman. She is doing camera duty very well, thank you. All right, and once we get all of the peels off of here, we'll go ahead and discard those. Okay, and so for now I'm just gonna push those to the side. And then you wanna get the apple sliced up, so I'm gonna cut it into quarters. Okay, and then I'm working with my flat sides down on the cutting board, but I still have a little bit of peel and some core in there. So in order to get that out, I actually put my knife, for me, I put it on an angle, and I discard the core. Okay. Now my apples, because it took quite a long time, I went ahead and tossed them with a little bit of lemon juice. If you put a little citric acid onto apples, that will prevent some of the enzymatic browning that happens, which is basically when apples that are cut, when it's exposed to the air, they start to turn brown. And we've all probably experienced that when we tried to pre-slice apples. So we can take these quarters and go ahead and give them nice slices. Okay guys, hopefully this is going to work. We are going to continue over here on the stove. Audrey is going to assist with me, and we've got the camera in a little tripod. So basically what's going to happen is Audrey, who has already washed her hands, tied her hair back, and put on an apron, is going to, can you unwrap that butter and pop it into this pan?
Yes.
Basically what is going to happen here is we are using a heavy bottom skillet. I'm using my cast iron skillet. Just pop it in there, and that cast iron skillet is really heavy, and it's going to allow us to cook this apples down. If you just had a regular pan, just something that's a nice heavy pan that will fit your apples in it, and so you want to use something that is big enough to put those in there. So I've got some butter melting over like a medium heat in my pan, and in the meantime I'm going to make what's called a cornstarch slurry. So in here, in this bowl, I have 3 tablespoons of water. And with that 3 tablespoons of water, I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and let it sort of dissolve. And I can just kind of shake that level.
Now, I have a question for you. And I would like to say this on video. So I was wondering, like, what's this gonna look like? Is it gonna kind of look like milk, or?
Yeah, so cornstarch, when you make a slurry like this, is going to kind of look like milk, but really the function of the cornstarch is going to be a thickener for this recipe. So it's going to do a great job of creating almost like a sauce for our apples that will give it that kind of caramely goop that like apples sit in. That'll be great for making this an apple pie filling, or if we wanted to serve it like a dessert with dinner, after dinner, and like just put some whipped cream on top or some ice cream and just have skillet apples. What's awesome is you can eat these warm, you can eat them cold, it really doesn't matter.
And this smells so good right now. So when you guys get a chance to do this, it's like heaven in here right now. That's how good it smells.
So our bowl of apples, we are going to slowly add these, being careful not to splash hot butter.
Yeah.
And we're going to save this bowl because I'm going to need to cool these apples to use this for an apple pie filling. And basically, I want to cook these apples down. So what I'm going to do is cook these for about 10 minutes and over a medium heat, and really get these to start releasing some of their water. I'm also going to be putting some brown sugar and spices on them after they've been cooking for 10 minutes. So I have half a cup of brown sugar ready to go. I also have a little bowl of pre-measured spices. Audrey's going to hold up what is in this bowl. In this bowl I have, actually, can you show the spices, hon?
Oh, yeah.
So cinnamon, if you can hold that up. Cinnamon, flip it over, that's the French side. We have cinnamon, about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I have a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So a very small amount of nutmeg and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Audrey can show that. And we can hear our apples cooking away. It's smelling heavenly.
Yeah, it's like crackling. It's making like a fire pit, crackly, like roasting sound.
That's right.
Send the timer on a microwave.
Okay guys, well my assistant basically left, so I am going to, these apples have been cooking for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to stop my timer that I had going, and what I want to do at this point is assess how much water is in my apples. So let me bring this over here. Basically, you can't control a natural product. So these apples had a lot of natural juices in them. And if your apples were a little drier, you might at this point need to add a couple tablespoons of water. But I'm not going to need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and give that cornstarch slurry another stir before I have it get poured right in. So I've got that. Then in is also going to go my brown sugar. And remember, whenever you measure brown sugar, we're packing and leveling it off. And I'll sprinkle all of my spices in. So now I want to go ahead and cook this down, being careful not to dump any of it out of my pot. I'm going to go ahead and cook this into a gorgeous coating and sauce for my apples. And this will take about 5 more minutes of cooking to soften these apples up, okay, and create a really great sauce that goes with it.
Already cooked. They
yeah, so
are
this
looking
is
pretty good.
Yeah, they look great, don't they? So this is after 5 more minutes of cooking, after we added the cornstarch slurry and the brown sugar. And so now what we're going to do is carefully transfer these to a bowl to cool. You could serve these warm with some ice cream. You could serve them with some whipped cream or Cool Whip. You could put these on top of oatmeal. There's a lot of ways you can do this. You can eat them cold or warm.
And we're going to use it in apple pie. And later in this video, we're going to show you how to make apple pie crust.
That's right. We will be making a separate video, actually. Yeah. So, Audrey, I'm going to hand you this. Okay. And while I go ahead and grab the skillet, which is very heavy, and I'll have you help with the spatula, the ones that don't want to come out, okay? So we're going to transfer these. It's hot, hot, hot. Okay, can you see if you can scrape any of that down? Also, any of the sauce. I'm going to turn this so that people can see a little bit. There we go. Great. Get that last apple out. I'll do a final scraping for you too. Okay. Here we go. Just make sure we get all of that beautiful sauce that we created. I'll show you guys.
Oh,
there it is.
I want to taste test that.
I know, right? It looks amazing. Get out. All right. Listen, Miss V's students know that that is not allowed. All right.
Taste this.
So let me give you kind of a final view here of what they look like. These are hot and steamy. We want to have those cool before we put them in a cold pie crust because we don't want these hot apples to hit that pie crust and start melting the butter that's going to be in that pastry that we're going to make. So I'm going to let mine cool. You decide what you would want to do with yours if you decide to make these at home, okay?
And we're going to do apple pie, of course, which I mentioned earlier.